guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of Apologist. It's Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we started cross-examining Darian Crescent, and we have basically figured out the whole case, but Darian is still trying to deny it, and so we are now trying to find out, we are trying to point a finger at an accomplice who helped him smuggle the cocoon in, because that is his supposed motive for killing Mr. Latouche, because he was trying to smuggle a cocoon in for money and stuff and insurance and all of that. But yeah, I think we know who it is. There is only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice, and that person is the defendant, Machi Tobaye. But Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Bulgarian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Le Miroir? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Le Miroir was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems that Le Miroir still could have done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Le Miroir stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower, which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Le Miroir's position in the air vent. Oh! Well, Detective Crescent, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, Detective. Can we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time? Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Too bad, so sad. Punk. Punk? First you were sleaze, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't what we see, correct, Darian? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the Wii pianist to set off that igniter? That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, we'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva. Le Miroir. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out. If they couldn't even press a switch? So are we gonna use the mixing board now? piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Machi Tobaya didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Guitar's Gavin is on... Guitar's Gavin? The freak? Gavin's guitar is on fire. But the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Machi Tobaya, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. Ugh. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machi Tobaya pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machi Tobaya pressed that switch? I don't know if you can call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us the evidence supporting this. Head Forehead, you're sure about this? Ha! Accept it! There's no evidence, man! Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch? The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed, right before the guitar burst into flame. I hear a piano being played. But, doesn't it sound kinda simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand? One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Ha! What, so you're some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe... I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? He can play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with 1 hand or 2? You can't. I admit it'll be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with 1 hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No. No way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with 1 hand, right before the guitar burst into flame. Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it. What? Oh. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Herr Forehead. Realize what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the but a fleeting melody phrase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar burst into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot, in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh That Night in Your Embrace." Yeah, so he wasn't really playing the melody. We don't need to hear this. My guy. Ah. Yeah, so he wasn't playing the melody with his right hand. They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use two hands to play that for sure. Oh! What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the two verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Zarian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had them play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourselves why Machi changed how he played. And there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What? No comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves! No, great show! It's not over. I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed in you, Herr Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes. Don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts I'll check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But 1,000 facts might point towards the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if he did, we would have already seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darien Crescent's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion? I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry, that is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What? And this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm not so fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Head Forehead, you are accusing this man, Darien Crescent, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche and the smuggling of a Bourguignon cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud, is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darien Crescent. Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that'll take apart Darien Crescent's plan is... Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean, a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt? The one person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobaye! Your client? Again? Machi Tobaye was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darien Crescent could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burned cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would, no doubt, also find inside the burned out guitar. Aha! Very scientific of you! Thus, if Machi Tobaye acknowledges his agreement with Darien Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darien's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death, by Borginian law. Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Crescent. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts, by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the parts about the Borginian cocoon. Yeah, but if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not gonna find him guilty of murder here, not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobaye. Ugh! The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan? Machi Tobaye knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling! Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. Hidden mansion? Real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? No. House made out of pianos? Come on. Please! Don't talk! Jesus Christ. Oh! Darien, I consider that my last session with you. Virakt. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk? You'll tell this court everything? I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know? I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from beginning. I knew. Machi. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule, however. It has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Machi Tobaye? Yes? I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And, with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. Oh! I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Machi Tobaye. Woo! Court court is adjourned. July 10th, 4:42 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. I wonder what'll happen to Machi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Burguinia. I guess there'll be another trial here. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Le Miroir? My, is something wrong? I'm sorry. Machi was your partner on stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Le Miroir lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right! She's the landscape painter in sound, after all! I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Le Miroir! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Drucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet! Me too! And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on until it came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the Guitar Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. We did it! Alright, Turnabout Succession. So now that we finished the case, I will admit, this trial drags on for a really long time. Longer than it should. They even make the point within the trial that, like, yeah, we've figured out the whole case. Everything makes sense. Everything has been put into place. Even me as the player, I figured out almost the whole case, except for the part with Darien in it. But almost the whole part of, like, where Le Miroir was during the whole thing, like, way in advance. But, even though I had played this game before, I don't remember exactly how any of these, like, crimes went. So, I did figure it out. I did genuinely, like, actually figure it out in my head long before they ever tried to, like, be like, oh yeah, she was, like, here, and then she was here. Like, you know, and it dragged on for a really long time when it probably didn't need to, but I guess it's gonna set up something for the future, a new court system. So, yeah. Well, that is it for this episode. Join me next time for Turnabout Succession. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet! Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload! Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!